Welcome to the Purdue Polytechnic Curriculum Visualization Project Showcase. We'd like to thank you for tuning in to our digital presentation. Throughout the spring 2020 semester, we have been working hard on this legacy project through the CGT Capstone course. Today, we'd like to show our work on this project and how it came to be through our development process. Before we proceed, allow us to introduce ourselves, the Aluri Consulting Team, also known as Group 14 in the CGT Capstone courses. My name is Antonio Gamez.
My name is Makayla Heemstra.
My name is Keerti Kolakaluri.
And I'm Lucca, McKay.
Our two project sponsors include Academic Advisor T.R. O'Neill and faculty member Dr. Parsons. We'd like to thank you both for your dedication and guidance during our involvement in this project. Our project stakeholders include our capstone instructors, Carlos Morales and Travis Fierst, as well as academic advisor Heather Mayorga. Now, we will dive into the project overview, addressing the problem and the solution. The problem statement reads, Purdue University's CGT curriculum mapping is currently ambiguous and confusing to students when they register for classes each semester through the Purdue registration portal. The goal is to create a course mapping solution that could be implemented across the CGT department. This project has a unique legacy aspect to it, as it was started by a previous capstone team that presented a proof of concept. Our involvement focused on innovating those ideas and beginning the path of creating a viable product for the CGT department. Meanwhile, we've also been documenting our development process and preparing the project assets to be available for future teams that could expand this product further. As part of the initiative to create a viable product for the CGT department, as well as to develop in a way that would allow future teams to immediately expand the product further, we made the decision to build a project from scratch with our own code and our own workflow. Our project focused on laying out the course plan for the animation major in particular. This CGT major has the most amount of students enrolled, the least complexity in course layout, and it removed the potential for research bias because we are not animation majors. The decision to focus on the animation major also came based on guidance from our sponsor in order to meet the time constraints throughout this semester and to fully maximize the functionality of our visualization. Now I will hand it off to Lucca, who will define what success was and the obstacles we had to overcome.
Thanks, Antonio. For measurable success, we wanted to make sure that the students could visually plan out their entire semester of undergraduate coursework during their time at Purdue. We also wanted to make sure that our solution provided an accurate percentage on how far they were in their major based on the classes that they've already completed. And then finally, we also wanted our solution to allow users to view a graphical representation of a schedule for a variety of cases. During our time with our project, we had run into several obstacles. Some were administrative difficulties, and then, of course, there was the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, to talk a little bit more about our schedule is Kayla.
Thank you, Lucca. This is our project timeline. The green sections represent our sprints, and the orange sections represent progress update meetings. In the initial research phase, we were looking for similar solutions, reviewing materials from the team before us, and starting to think about what changes we would make. Initial ideation involved sketching our ideas. Once we started user testing, we made iterations to the prototype until it was time to start polishing code. After each sprint, we would have a meeting to update our sponsor and client. They provided us feedback to help with iteration. Our deliverables include a minimum viable product, workflow documentation, and our assets provided for the next team. The product we're delivering is a student view of our course visualization. The workflow documentation includes summaries of all our sprints, as well as a final documentation. It also includes a document that walks through the code in more detail. All of our assets will be packaged on Google Drive to be delivered to the next team. Now we would like to take a moment to display our final solution.
So now we're gonna walk you through our solution. This is our login page that we made. We made it with the intention of being replaced by boiler key. So therefore, we just made it a very plain login page with just a box for a username and password. We created a username and password with a name of just Purdue Pete for the sake of that people would just log in with their Purdue career account and their Boiler key password. So this is the home page for where the students will be able to see their progress through their progress bar, how much they have completed, and their major, and they will be able to see what their major is and their minor to where my cursor is at, as well as searching classes up in order to find what classes, when classes are available, when, at what time. And in order to log out, you can press on the user icon where option to log out will show up. And now I will talk about the visualization, one of our visualizations that we have created, which this one is the recommended visualization for the specific major. In this case, it's about animation. In this visualization, a student will be able to view their courses in the specific semesters listed. For example, in the fall first year, a user will be able to click on the blue circles to expand or collapse in order to see their courses as demonstrated. In order to see the prerequisites, a student would have to expand on a specific semester and then will be able to see an option under their courses list with an option, with the blue option as demonstrated here. And now I will explain the color coding behind this visualization. The animation color is a nice gold color to allow students to understand that that is different and it's their major. And then for fall and spring, there are different shades of gray to differentiate the type of semester it is. As we look into the courses, there is a different shade of gold to distinguish the majors courses, in this case, CGT, and the black color indicates other courses required for this major. The color coding for the prerequisites is a darker gold color that allows a student to distinguish that it is a prerequisite. And now I will hand it off to Makayla to discuss about the actual visualization.
Thank you, Keerti. This is the actual visualization tab. This tab is to allow users to customize their classes. Of course, you can expand and collapse the nodes on this view as well, but what's unique about this view is that is the Edit Classes button. Once you press that button, you see all of these add and delete options. When you hover over, you see a label for add course or delete. Pressing delete will permanently collapse that node. If you collapse this and expand it again, those classes are still deleted. If you want to make more edits, you press Edit Classes again. If you want to add a class to this semester, click the Add Course button, and this text field appears, asking which class would you like to add. So for the purpose of this demonstration, I picked a random class, CGT 270. And you press Add Class. The new class appears as a blue circle to emphasize the fact that it is new. If you decide that you want to delete that class, you can simply press that Edit Classes button again and delete it. If you decide that you would like to refresh this view to the default plan, you can press either the visualization or the actual tab, and it will bring back all those original classes for you.
Thank you, Makayla and Keerti. Now that we've shown our final product, we'd like to go into the initial research process, where Lucca will begin introducing our competitive analysis.
Thanks, Antonio. To start off our project, we wanted to make sure that we were aware of some of the current design trends when it came to designing a calendar. To sort of do this, we decided to conduct a competitive analysis on some already existing products to see how other competitors might be designing their calendars. To start off, we looked at Google Drive. We noticed that Google Drive has a My Calendar section in the bottom left that allows you to sort of click through and cycle between different calendars, which we decided was a very useful feature. We then also noticed that you're able to click and drag different events and move them around your schedule. We thought that this was also a useful feature. On clicking on a specific event, you are then able to edit it as well as see more information on it entirely. To talk about the application Team Week is now Makayla.
Thank you, Lucca. Team Week is a project planning and scheduling website. This is the annual view of a project. On the left, there are two segments named Sections 1 and 2 and a button to add more. The segments could categorize tasks by task type or maybe by semester. These colored bars represent either one task or groups of tasks occurring at the same time. This is a section that appears when the user clicks on a task. All these options are for customizing the task. There's a space to assign the task a color, name it, assign it a daily time slot, put the duration of the task, and add any extra notes or files. This was an idea for including more information about a course. To talk about the next product we looked at is Keerti.
Thank you, Makayla. This competitive analysis is a schedule planner app. On the left image, it shows that users can plan to do certain activities and can also input when they actually did that activity. On that right image, the application helps users to visually understand their patterns of executing their planned activity through statistics, as well as helping them to stay on track. And now the team will go through their design process. This slide is about initial iterations. There are a couple of visualization iterations of a page to see a comparison of majors, which would be viewed through a Venn diagram on the left, and a page for curriculum mapping, which would be viewed through a timeline on the right. The next slide is based on what we concluded from the competitive analysis. The team had decided we wanted to have a few features in our final product, which were the idea to include a calendar view of any semester and an option to toggle between their recommended curriculum and their actual curriculum, just like the competitive analysis on the schedule planner app. Other features we thought of were the progress bar, mentioning what the student's major and minor, an option to search classes, and an indication that allows a student to know whether they will be able to graduate in 4 years when you add too many courses. For this period of user testing, we created a test method for the purpose of figuring out how people visualize their schedules. These are two examples from different users. We noticed that users organize their classes into rows based on course level or category. Users also took into account which classes should be taken which semester based on balancing their workloads. We considered this feedback as we went on to design the visualization, as seen on this page. As the team had done testing with 2 users, the 2 visualizations are based on the participants' thought process as well as what they thought were important to include in their curriculum. A couple of points that were taken into consideration while sketching were that they wanted to view different class levels and to be able to view their classes in the fall, spring, and summer. The left visualization, which can be visualized radially, shows the courses placed under the right semesters. And the visualization on the right shows a tree diagram in which you can view the majors curriculum from left to right. Due to the obstacles, the team was not able to conduct further testing, and with the help from our sponsor, we decided to go ahead with the tree diagram as people are more familiar with this kind of visualization. Now, I will pass it on to Lucca to discuss about the mid-fi designs.
Thank you, Keerti. These are some of the mid-fi designs that we mocked up in accordance to some of the research that we did and initial sketches we had. At the top, we have the progress bar of your current progress throughout your 4 years at school. It's also in accordance to your major and minor, which you are able to add on the right there. And then you have the calendar view with the actual tab. Essentially, the calendar view is just showing you what your current semester is looking like, and the actual view is showing you what you actually signed up for. However, you are able to see underneath each of those classes your recommended classes or what the system recommends for that semester. In clicking on the recommended tab, you are able to see that those classes filter forward and then show you a little more of a description about what classes the system thinks you should be taking. In clicking on the list view, you are then able to view these classes in a little bit more of a list format, which would show you the description of the class in a little bit more detail, as well as some other important information, such as the professor and professor email. And clicking on the visualization tab, you are able to view a visualization of your time spent of your entire curriculum of 4 years at Purdue. In clicking on the search bar, you are able to see some of the recommended classes or the required classes for both your major and your minor. These classes would be in association with each semester and what is recommended to be taken during that semester. In hovering over the progress bar, you are then able to also see your current progress in both your major and your minor and how those sort of combine into your overall progress. Now, to talk a little bit more about that visualization design is Keerti.
Thank you, Lucca. As the final iteration of the visualization design, the team decided to visualize the tree diagram as shown on this slide. It includes the option for students to see their major on the far left, then the type of semester, then their courses, and the prerequisites for the courses that have any to them. On the next slide, this is the final website layout. It shows the visualization and the recommended tab together. You will be able to view the visualization for what is recommended for the specific major selected. In this case, it's animation. On the next slide, it allows a student to view their actual course curriculum under the visualization tab, allowing them to be able to see what they actually chose. Now, I will hand it off to Antonio to discuss about our next steps.
Thank you, Keerti. To end our presentation, we'd like to close with addressing the immediate next steps. Now that our final product and deliverables have been shown off, we will be sending our client a Google Drive folder with all of the solution files and documentation. This will continue the legacy aspect of the project, allowing future teams to have access to these assets and expand on them further. We will also be completing our final documentation, which breaks down the development process you've seen today, but more in depth. It will also include all feedback given from our sponsors, our stakeholders, and the audience members. This concludes our digital presentation. We'd like to thank you again for tuning in and invite you to leave us your questions and feedback. We will be spending the next week reviewing your comments and responding to them promptly. Thank you for your time.